is dazzling Paul. He's already a Derby winner in 3 states: Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Alabama. This is Oliver's Twist, charging up on the inside at the Preakness, the colt who nearly spoiled trainer D. Wayne Lucas's Triple Crown Suite. Today, they challenge other top 3-year-olds for bragging rights here in the Buckeye State. It's the 61st Ohio Derby. Thrifty Car Rental, racing across America. Welcome to Thistledown and North Randall outside Cleveland, Ohio. It's the site for a race that has been the feature here in the Buckeye State since 1876. Welcome to Derby Day in Ohio. And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln today, along with Dave Johnson and Tom Durkin. We welcome you to a live 90 minutes of thoroughbred racing here on ESPN. Our race card will feature 4 live races from 3 different tracks. We'll start right here at Thistledown with the Rose DeBartolo Memorial for Ohio-bred fillies and mares. On to New York for the Brooklyn Handicap for the older horses. Then we'll take you out to Minnesota, to Canterbury Park there for their Turf Classic, part of the big Turf Festival this weekend. And right back here for the 61st running of the Ohio Derby, our feature this afternoon. You know, in the first 6 decades of this Ohio Derby, we've had some of the great racehorses in history come through here, like Black Gold in the 1920s. More recently, Broad Brush and Lost Code. How about last year, where Concern finished 2nd in this race, then went on to win the $3 million Breeders' Cup Classic. Beautiful day for racing here on the northern coast of Ohio. They call this the northern coast of this country. It's 90 degrees, sunny weather, light breeze, and a fast racetrack. When we come back, it's ladies first. Ohio-bred fillies and mares set to run in the Rose DeBartolo Memorial Handicap next.
Historically, whenever you had a problem in your neighborhood, there was always someone to help you, just when you needed them most. Today, you can still rely on Thrifty. Simply use your Montgomery Ward credit card at Montgomery Ward Car Rental at all Thrifty locations. So whether you're traveling in your neighborhood or to someone else's, we're there. Your neighborhood Thrifty Car Rental, historically known for low rates.
They come to Hollywood for the excitement, the nightlife, the action, and a chance to be a winner. Hollywood Park Racetrack and Casino. A lot can happen here.
People ask me if I miss racing, if I miss the great horses or thundering down the stretch, or if I miss the big races or the big purses. And I always tell them I don't miss it at all. Because with Turfway Park right here in my own backyard, hey, what's there to miss? There's just nothing like the thrill of racing, and there's nothing like the thrill of Turfway Park.
Our live 4-race set on Thrifty Car Rental racing across America. Just moments away from starting here, the 11th running of the Rose DeBartolo Memorial Handicap, named in honor of Edward J. DeBartolo's mother. Of course, Mr. DeBartolo, such a big influence on racing here in Ohio and across the nation. Here are the conditions: $100,000 in the purse, a mile and 1/8 for fillies and mares bred in Ohio 3 and up. Tom Durkin set to make the call. First, Dave Johnson has the field.
Well, the question is whether Sadie's Dream can repeat. This is a very nice 5-year-old mare who won the Rose DeBartolo wire-to-wire last year, carrying 120 pounds. Today, she totes 123. She's been racing at Churchill Downs, and a regular rider, Tony D'Amico, is up for the assignment this afternoon. But it's not an easy race to win. Big field, 13 of them, and a very talented group of invaders. Here's the field with current odds. Nectaria at 30-1. Sadie's Dream is the 4-5 favorite. Joyce D, Good Witch Glinda, both at 22-1. P for Perfect, and Michael Rowland replaces Julie Crone on this one. Tiz Willie Nelson is a long shot. Cold Porridge is off the menu today. 7 has been scratched. Miss Gitter is the 8-horse, and Heavenliness with Pat Day at about 3.5-1, and there's a 3-horse mutual field. DJ's Firebird, Rosabella Believe, and Royal Door. Looks like a lot of speed from Nectaria and Sadie's Dream and possibly DJ's Firebird. I think it sets up perfectly for the Pat Day ridden Heavenliness. 6 pounds less than last time. Number 9, Heavenliness. Watch for Pat Day to be flying through the stretch. Let's go up to Tom Durkin for the call of the Rose DeBartolo.
And the final horse is moving in there. Miss Gitter's moving in, number 8 horse there with the pink sleeves and cap, and she might have some early speed too. Patient Pat Day aboard Heavenliness taking their spot. And the big favorite, of course, Sadie's Dream, the Ohio Fillion mare last year at 4-5, and the winner of this race. She won this race last year wire to wire. Don't know if she's going to take that spot this year. We're ready for the start. And they're off. And down inside, Nectaria is hustled out immediately for the lead. Sadie's Dream is flashing some speed. Here comes Miss Gitter, and toward the outside, Nan's First Girl, and Royal Door is farthest out under the line the first time, and Nectaria out to establish the lead. To the far outside, it's Royal Door there, and Nan's First Girl will mix it up in between horses early. Miss Gitter's just in behind what appears to be a fast early pace running in 4th. Then it's 4 lengths back to the big favorite, Sadie's Dream. She's settling in now. She's about 7 or 8 lengths already from the front runners. P for Perfect is alongside her, and they're followed by Good Witch Glinda, who's running 7th, and a break of 5 lengths back. The DJ's Firebird 8th. Unusual Color is 9th by 3. Rosabelle Believe is running in 10th on the outside of Joyce D. Then it's a break of 4 back to stretch running Heavenliness. Heavenliness is already almost 20 lengths out of it. And she has only 1 horse beaten. It's long shot Tiz Willie Nilly. And the pace is taxing. 46-1 for the opening half mile. The first quarter went in 22-1. Nectaria at 30-1 here is really hard pressed on the outside by Royal Door. And there goes P for Perfect. P for Perfect now making a strong bid for the lead with 3 furlongs to go here. Just in behind them, it's Nan's First Girl. She's running in 4th position. Sadie's Dream is down inside, and she might have some traffic problems late. She's in behind a weakening Royal Door. And now she finds room there toward the inside. In the meantime, here comes P for Perfect, who's had a clear run to the lead, and she is taking on Nectaria, who's been softened up in the early speed duel. And Sadie's Dream has a lot to do here. 4 lengths behind and 3/16 of a mile to go. P for Perfect comes charging off the turn with the lead by 2.5 lengths. Sadie's Dream is running 2nd, and here comes Pat Day with Heavenliness. They're coming from another county. They're in the last furlong. Sadie's Dream is in front. The favorite, a 2 lengths lead, 100 yards to go. Heavenliness trying to get her. Here's the line. Here's Sadie's Dream to repeat. She was wandering to the outside just at the end. Heavenliness almost had to alter course just a little bit. I don't think it made too much difference in the outcome. P for Perfect wound up 3rd in a very formful running of the Rose DeBartolo.
Sadie's Dream, the repeat here in the Rose DeBartolo Memorial Handicap. We're kind of used to that. I can remember covering the Rose for the 3 years between 1987 and 89 when Landon Knight's Tougaloo was a 3-time winner of this race. Well, now Sadie's Dream becomes a 2-time winner. She is by Rare Performer out of Lucky I Might, bred here in Ohio by Mr. and Mrs. Leo Buse, owned by the LIM stable, and a fine job. And Sadie's Dream will pick it up at the top of the stretch, Dave, and bring us home.
Well, as Tom said, Nectaria had been softened up, and it was a big run by Sadie's Dream to get the lead, but an even bigger run as Pat Day brought Heavenliness, the 9-horse, from out of another county. Watch here. Now the 2-horse Sadie's Dream takes the lead, and on the left side, here comes Pat Day. But watch, does Tony D'Amico bear out? See if Pat Day has to alter his course before the wire. I think so. Well, we'll see. I'll bet the stewards are taking a look at the videotape right now. Unofficially, it's Sadie's Dream. First onto the wire, Heavenliness second, Chris.
Tom, you call it. The inquiry sign is up in the 1995 Rose DeBartolo Memorial Handicap. So hold everything. Hold those tickets. Maybe Sadie's Dream does not have her 2nd consecutive win in the Rose. We'll find out as the stewards take a look. More racing coming up on ESPN. Thrift Thrifty Car Rental, racing across America. Brought to you by Thrifty Car Rental, historically known for low rates. By Hollywood Park, where great times are a sure bet. By Wittenauer Watches, the perfect balance of hand craftsmanship and advanced technology. Wittenauer, the watchmaker's watch. And by Beechwood Aged Budweiser. It's always been true. This Bud's for you.
Welcome to Daytona's first full-service used car dealership, Sunrise Auto World on Ridgewood Avenue in Holly Hill. You name it, we've got it. Economy cars, trucks, luxury cars, it's all here at one location. If you've had credit problems or no credit at all, we'll handle the financing, help you reestablish your good credit rating. We've got a great selection of late model, one-owner vehicles, all at reduced prices. Don't miss our grand opening at Sunrise Auto World, Ridgewood Avenue in Holly Hill.
When thinking of the world's finest automobiles, one name comes to mind, Mercedes-Benz. Now add another name to the list, Higginbotham Automobiles, the newest Mercedes-Benz dealer in Central Florida. Located in Daytona Beach, Higginbotham Automobiles is the area's premier source for Mercedes-Benz selection and value.
You can't buy or lease a new Mercedes-Benz for less anywhere.
Come see why Higginbotham is making a name for itself in Central Florida.
Sometimes the greatest moments in sports happen right in your backyard. Now make your moment count with ESPN's Father's Day Sweepstakes sponsored by Savan. Just send a sports action photo of you and your dad to win tickets to 4 ESPN events. Plus attend the opening of ESPN World. Finalists get Savan soft cotton no wrinkle clothing. To enter, send photos to P.O. Box 518 Hermosa Beach, California 90254. Take your best shot. Enter ESPN's Father's Day Sweepstakes sponsored by Savan.
They have just dropped the inquiry sign. The race is official, and the winner for the second year in a row is Sadie's Dream, and she has beaten her own stakes record. And this, the 11th running of the row, is the fastest ever, 1:49.4 for the mile and an 8. So Sadie's Dream beats the field, withstands an inquiry, and Tom, let's take another look at it.
Well, as they turn for home, P for Perfect ran a very good race today, and she is on the lead at this point. To her outside in those green silks is Sadie's Dream, and farthest out into the track, well, not farthest out, but about the fourth at this juncture is Heavenliness, who is beginning to make her final closing bid. P for Perfect, you really can't say she moved prematurely, but she was chasing a 30-to-1 long shot. At the 16th pole, when it counted, Sadie's Dream takes the lead. Now, she will drift out, wander just a bit. Pat Day, I don't think he's beyond theatrics, because right when they come to the wire, notices the horse in front drifting out just a little bit. Oh, please, Judge, did you see that? I was right in front of you. I had to stand up on my horse. Well, I think the judges used very good judgment in keeping the correct number up today.
All right, so Sadie's Dream has made it 2 in a row here in the Rose DeBartolo Memorial Handicap, and joining me now is the Executive Vice President and the General Manager of racing here, a great friend of ours, Mike Mackey. Mike, a beautiful day for the Ohio Derby. What a great crowd.
Chris, finally we did it right. We got the temperature in the right range for a change.
Fantastic, and this is not only being seen, of course, by all the fans here at the track, but really throughout the nation and throughout the world.
This year we're being covered by 463 outlets in the simulcast network for this race, Chris.
Let's talk about the impact of simulcasting. Obviously, we know about the industry. How about here in Ohio?
Here in Ohio, it's the major chance for survival that we have coming before us. Full car simulcasting has to come. The public wants it. They're getting it in all the surrounding states, and we have to have it here.
You're sharing with River Downs, the 7 and 7. This worked well.
It's done just what we wanted. Got our purses up there where we're competitive with other Midwest tracks now, and with the good purses, we're able to draw the good horses.
But still able to take only 2 races outside of Ohio. When will that change? When will the state move into the current century?
Probably when we can get agreement with the harness industry here in Ohio because of their strength, and we're hopeful that we'll have something done by wintertime because, again, here in Ohio, when the race meet's over, so's your simulcast.
Mike, congratulations to you and your entire staff here.
Chris, thank you very much. It's always a joy having you guys with us.
All right, let's make things official here for the Rose DeBartolo Memorial Handicap. It's Sadie's Dream winning her second straight. Heavenliness, horse coming in second, and Sadie's Dream withstanding the Stewart's inquiry, and P for Perfect gets the show spot. It's official here in the Rose DeBartolo Memorial Handicap. By the way, John York and Denise York DeBartolo. Denise DeBartolo York, we're down there to make the presentation. Here's our Wittenauer split times now. The half is Tom Durkin called it a pretty quick 46.37. Three-quarter 111, the mile 137, and the finish. That is the new stakes record here for the Rose DeBartolo Memorial Handicap. And they celebrate the victory of the Rose for Sadie's Dream. Back with more in a moment.
Make your bid for success at Keeneland's July yearling sale.
Since the beginning, you could always depend on your neighborhood for whatever you needed for your family vacation, even when you needed a car with more trunk space. The fact is, you can still rely on Thrifty Car Rental to deliver historically low rates on a variety of legendary cars. So whether you're traveling in your neighborhood or to someone else's, we're there. Your neighborhood Thrifty Car Rental, historically known for low rates.
On Saturday, September 30th, the Grade 1 $750,000 Isle of Capri Casino Super Derby 16 will explode from the gate. And the victor will be in the company of such champions as Ali Sheba, Sunday Silence, and Soul of the Matter. Will it be your 3-year-old? It's time to get your best in the running. Regular nominations for this mile-and-a-quarter event close Saturday, July 1st. For information, call 800-551-2361. Remember, the Grade 1 Isle of Capri Casino Super Derby 16, September 30th.
2-0 on no. Wetland checks the runner at third. Here's the pitch.
Who's that, a new bartender? Yeah, they put him on a couple of days ago. What happened to the other guy? They canned him. Gotta be kidding. I mean, he was only here 2 weeks. What does that make? 8 in 2 months? 8, 9.
And there's ball 4.
Don't you think that's kind of strange?
Not really. The guy that bought the joint is related to Steinbrenner.
Well, figures.
Gotta be wondering what's happened to his bullpen. It can't be making the big guy in the front office too happy.
Thrifty Car Rental racing across America welcomes you back to Thistledown. There, the locker rooms, if you will. The barn area for our thoroughbred stars here. And a nice area it is here at Thistledown. That's where our stars will be coming across the track for the big race later this afternoon, the Ohio Derby. Let's set the conditions for you now. The 61st Ohio Derby, Grade 2, a mile and an eighth. It's 3-year-olds for $300,000 guaranteed purse. And now for his thoughts on the Ohio Derby, let's go upstairs to Tom Durkin.
Well, the Ohio Derby usually draws a pretty good field, as it did this year. And scheduling is one reason, for it comes 1 week after the Belmont Stakes. And for those who don't want to quest after the holy grail of Belmont's grueling mile and a half, there is this Ohio Derby at the more sensible distance of a mile and an eighth. And the Ohio Derby also kind of marks the end of the, semi-unofficial end of the spring Derby season. For the horses that were entered in this race, they ran in no less than 9 derbies. Florida Derby, Jersey Derby, Kentucky Derby, Santa Anita Derby, Alabama Derby, Louisiana Derby, Illinois Derby, Remington Park Derby. You get the picture? Well, let's get the picture for the Ohio Derby. Here's the field. Number 1 is Svikatis. It means cheers in Lithuanian, but has translated lately into up the track. Oliver's Twist should have won the Preakness. The dickens, you say? Well, we'll find out today if he's the real deal or just a ghost of Preakness past. Wishful Song, well, this is a bet for only those of you that are very compassionate. Dazzling Falls. Garrett Gomez had ridden this horse in his 3 Derby wins, but this week, at the ripe age of 23, Garrett Gomez retired, at least temporarily, and Corey Nakatani picks up that mount. Haitianville, or Pétionville, if you parle français, but in either tongue, the Louisiana Derby winner should be Formidable this afternoon. And DeHaas was scratched. He had some mucus found yesterday, and it's not serious, but he nonetheless will not be running in the Ohio Derby. And I Still Believe. Well, the Clevelanders will be cheering for I Still Believe, but I'm not so sure they'll be betting on him. He'll be a long price this afternoon. Let's go down to Dave Johnson.
And I'm here with Corey Nakatani, who picked up the mount on Dazzling Falls. Now, this is the first time you've ridden this horse. Is it easier to ride a front runner or a horse with late speed like Dazzling Falls?
Well, I tell you, I prefer just to ride in the race, and if the horse is a front runner, I'll ride him that way. If he's come from mine, I'll ride him that way.
It doesn't matter to you the first time on the horse?
No, it doesn't.
How'd you prepare for this ride?
I was talked to the trainer and was able to get a tape of his 3 races that he ran in the Arkansas Derby, the Alabama, and his last race. So,
well, let's take a look at that Arkansas Derby, because he was last in the early going, but he has quite a kick, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He looks like he was, Garrett was riding him with a lot of patience, and like he was riding with a lot of confidence and knew what he had under him. So he really ran a good race. He's a gutsy little horse. He runs inside, outside, and he tends to, when he gets to the front, he waits a little bit. So that'll be my job, is hopefully I get there right when the time is right.
Now, you've ridden 2 horses today on this track. How is it playing? How's the track here at Thistledown playing?
The track is fair. The first horse I rode today was sitting second in the race, and she won the race. So I think it's favoring the speed. It's been that way all day, and yesterday I watched the replays of the races, and the speed tends to carry a little farther. So hopefully that one of the best horses, and we get lucky to.
Very good. Best of luck, Corey Nakatani, who will ride Dazzling Falls in the Ohio Derby. Back to you, Chris.
At least according to the morning line maker, though, Corey will not be on the favorite. That role has gone to the Maryland colt Oliver's Twist, who so impressed everyone in the Preakness in his home state when he ran just a half length behind Timber Country and then beat Thunder Gulch, who sent Kim Goodwin to his home quarters in Darlington, Maryland at Bonita Farms.
One of the benefits of being successful is having a nice place to get away from it all. Oliver's Twist has a country manor spread that makes most of his equine rivals' racetrack stalls look like cramped city condos. Bonita Farm in Darlington, Maryland has always been home to Oliver's Twist. He was bred there by his trainer, Bill Boniface.
I worked in England for a while when I came out of the Marine Corps, and I got the idea there the horses would do better training from a yard, and my people work European style. They groom and ride the same horses, and we train in sets, and we do an awful lot of whirlpool work and hosing and tubbing and lasering, and it's a more relaxed way of getting things done. Our horses are able to come out in the evening when it cools off and graze. You know, a lot of racetracks you get to, it's all blacktop. You can't do that. And so if you lose a little bit, maybe shipping the day of the race, I think what you gain in between is worth much more.
Oliver's Twist went to Florida for the winter and disappointed in the Derby preps. When he came back to Maryland and hung in the private term stakes, blinkers were employed to keep his attention on running. He came back with a win in the Federico Tessio Stakes, and the next stop was the Preakness.
I thought he would win the race because he was really peaking at the right time. It's almost, you know, very unusual as you get a horse to peak exactly at the day that you want him to, but in this case, he was really there. He'd overcome, rebounded from his trip back from Florida. The blinkers had intensified him. The last 2 works going into the race were letter perfect, and he just peaked exactly right. Nobody remembers who was second, and if this horse had gotten through earlier, he would have won.
Now the goal becomes the Ohio Derby. This country gentleman always commutes to work and will see the surface of Thistledown for the first time on race day. Boniface doesn't see this as a problem.
No, he's been to Florida. He's run on a lot of different racetracks, and particularly for a 3-year-old, he's a quite mature horse.
Believe it or not, it's a boat Oliver's Twist is named after, not the novel. But for his first-time horse owner, Charles Oliver, it's been a dickens of an experience.
Well, he said it's been a hell of a year, to put it mildly, and last night he was here when we grazed at 5:30, and this morning when I was loading the manure truck, 6 o'clock, he was here too. He said he couldn't sleep, so I think he's pretty enthused about this horse. It's, you know, he's been very lucky to come up with a horse like him in his first time. He appreciates that, and I think he'll be in the game for a long time.
Something new for Oliver's Twist, though. His first experience at flying. He was flown here privately. He will have a one-way ticket, though. He will van home no matter what he does in this race. No more flying for Oliver's Twist. We'll be back with more of our story as you look at the Rose DeBartolo winner's circle. John York and Denise DeBartolo York.
minutes north of Los Angeles International Airport. 5 minutes west of Los Angeles International Airport. 5 minutes south of Los Angeles International Airport. 5 minutes east of Los Angeles International Airport. Hollywood Park, just minutes from LAX.
Great moments in racing are the results of months of hard work and hope, years of planning and persevering, and generations of successful bloodlines. For nearly 2 decades, Walmack has contributed to some of racing's most exciting moments by introducing promising stallions like Salt Lake, a Grade 1 winner by Deputy Minister, who won more than $500,000 while sprinting against the nation's best. At Walmack, we're working to make every moment count.
Friday night at 7:30 Eastern, Alex Zolkin faces Tony Tubbs for the NABF heavyweight title. Top Rank Boxing on ESPN.
We've run the Rose DeBartolo here at Thistledown by Sadie's Dream. Still 3 more live races to come. And, of course, we'll be updating and reviewing all the racing action in harness, thoroughbred, and quarter horse on the Racehorse Digest this Wednesday at 4 o'clock Eastern. Ready now for the second of our live races, and we'll be heading for Belmont Park, New York for the next event. It's the Brooklyn Handicap. Let's set the conditions for this Grade 2 event for $250,000. It's a 1 1/8 miles. Thoroughbreds 3 and up, some of the top older handicap horses in action. Dave Johnson has a closer look.
Well, the Brooklyn is the middle jewel of the 3-race New York Handicap Triple, and it was restored to the spring-summer schedule, all 3 being run this year at Belmont Park. The Met Mile, a 1-turn mile, then the Brooklyn today at a 1 1/8 miles, and the 1 1/4 miles Suburban on July 4th weekend. Let's take a look at what happened in the first leg, the Metropolitan Mile. But first of all, we'll take a look at today's field for the Brooklyn. We have scratched Devil His Due and Swindle, both of them scratched by trainer Alan Jerkins. Key Contender is at 11-1 with Jerry Bailey. Iron Gavel currently at 7-1. Secret Savings and trading by Shug McGahee's Jose Santos in the iron, 2-1. Slick Horn and You and I, both some speed up front, 7-1, and You and I is a 9-5 slight choice with Jorge Chavez Electrojet at 13-1. Federal Funds makes his 104th career start, is at 50-1 on the big board. Relat Farah at 9, and not surprising, completes the field 8-1 with Robbie Davis. Now let's take a look at what happened in the Met Mile. You and I was an invader from California. Bobby Frankel brought him east. He finished 3rd in the Carter and got the wire-to-wire victory here at 6-1 in the Metropolitan Mile on Memorial Day weekend. Along the inside, Light the Fuse was right there, finishing, winning the Carter, but not winning here. And Our Emblem finished 3rd. So, Met Mile goes to You and I. Tom Durkin called that race. Tom, how impressive was it that day?
Very impressive at a mile. He set a pressured pace at 44-1, and then still went on to win. But it was a gold rail that day at Belmont Park. And this afternoon, well, he's going to have to go an extra furlong, and as for You and I, well, that might just be the end of his rope. Let's take a look at one of the favorites in the race, and it is Secret Savings in action here. A lightly raced horse. This was only his 8th career start. He's won 5 of them, wearing those famous colors of the Phipps stable of black and cherry red. Jose Santos is aboard. He had to steady just a moment as they neared the top of the stretch of this 1-mile race, but then Jose Santos says, okay, let's go, and they went. This is a very lightly raced horse. He's a 4-year-old that has had 8 career starts. He has won 5 of them. He's finished 2nd in 2 of those races. And it looks as though Secret Savings' best days are ahead of him. Well, we'll find out, because this will be a defining race for Secret Savings this afternoon. Chris?
Tom, that is the colt I think everybody's going to be paying attention to, especially with Devil His Due scratching there. So watch for those black silks and the cherry red cap. This looks like a special colt. Dave, your thoughts on the Brooklyn?
Well, 2 weeks ago, we were all at Suffolk Downs for the Massachusetts Handicap, and Secret Savings was entered up there against Cigar, but Shug McGahee opted for that $40,000 allowance race at Belmont Park. With the race he ran that day and his numbers before that, he might have given Cigar a little bit of a tussle. I think he'll be the easiest kind of winner in the Brooklyn this afternoon. Chris?
Hard to imagine who's going to challenge him here, Dave. Secret Savings, and he'll break from the 4 post. You can take a look at that. John Embrial will be set to call the Brooklyn Force, the 107th running of the Brooklyn Handicap. And as Dave touched on earlier, it's nice to have this handicap series back here in New York. As you see him behind the starting gate here, it's one turn on the huge 1.5 mile racetrack. The distance, 1.8 miles, at $250,000, and there is the stakes record. Devil is Due won't have a chance to defend that. The track record of, well, all the track records in New York, aren't they? Or Secretariat. There's the mark there. Devil is Due again scratched the consummate horseman Alan Jerkins. Discovered, we understand, a bit of a temperature with Devil is Due. Decided he did not want to enter his stable star, who has won almost $4 million. Swindle was only in there simply because of a little speed factor. Tom Durkin?
There you see that view from the far turn at Belmont. They have a 5-furlong run before they hit that first and only turn of the 1.8 miles. The track announcer this afternoon at Belmont Park is John Embrial. He'll be calling the horses down that long run, and you can expect Secret Savings to be very close to the early lead, and you and I to be right out there trying to carry his speed for the 9 furlongs of the 107th running of the Brooklyn Handicap. Again, he does have a lot of speed. The last horse to move into the starting gate will be, not surprising, apparently he has a little difficulty. Oh, the 9 horse, I've been told, is the horse that is giving them some difficulty. A horse from Dubai. Here's John Embrial. Okay, trying to do the race call here. The field moving out the backstretch. You and I has just relinquished the lead, and it is to Slick Horn. So I believe Slick Horn has a short lead. That is You and I, who is on the outside running in second. Just in behind them, that's Key Contender tucked away toward the inside. Iron Gavel is in and among horses running in fourth. And on the far outside, not surprising, is up close to the pace. And the horse in the black silks there is Secret Savings, and he's only 2 lengths from the early lead. Electrojet is the next one as they continue their run up the backstretch. And it is Slick Horn. Slick Horn has the lead. The opening half mile, 46 2/5 seconds. That's well within the range of the speedy You and I, who is right there with Slick Horn on the outside. To their outside, not surprising, is within striking range. He's only 2 lengths from the lead. Secret Savings is right there in and among horses, now running in 4th position. Down inside, it's Key Contender, who is up close earlier, now running in 5th as the field makes the move toward the top of the stretch. I believe that's Electrojet, who's on the far outside of horses as they make their turn to the top of the stretch at Belmont Park. 3/4 and 10 and 4. It's You and I. Jorge Chavez hasn't really got busy on him yet. He's still been dueling with Slick Horn as they make the turn into the stretch. Secret Savings is just in behind the lead. Jose Santos is asking him for run. He is not getting it today. And as they come down toward the last furlong, it is You and I who's forging to a short lead. Slick Horn is battling back bravely all the way, 100 yards from home. It's You and I. Jorge Chavez is all over him, and it is You and I. Yes! You and I wins it by a length. Finishing second was Key Contender, and Slick Horn wound up third. The final time there was 1 minute 49 seconds flat. I think I got the horses right. Chris?
Okay, Tom Durkin, just like you rehearsed it. You and I now has won 2 legs of the handicap triple in New York, took the Metropolitan Mile. The question for the California Invader was, could he hold his speed? Could he make it another 1/8 of a mile to the 9 furlongs, 1 mile and 1/8? Well, he was able to do it. You and I holding off Slick Horn has set the early fractions on the rail to the inside here as they battle to the wire. You and I ridden again very well by George Chavez, brings the California Invader from Bobby Franco to the wire first. And You and I, the unofficial winner in the Brooklyn Handicap. We'll be right back.
Historically, whenever you had a problem in your neighborhood, there was always someone to help you, just when you needed them most. Today, you can still rely on Thrifty. Simply use your Montgomery Ward credit card at Montgomery Ward Car Rental at all Thrifty locations. So whether you're traveling in your neighborhood or to someone else's, we're there. Your neighborhood Thrifty Car Rental, historically known for low rates.
Top horses don't just show up for the biggest days in racing, and neither should you. When the stakes are high and the races are big, remember, nobody beats Daily Racing Form. Only Daily Racing Form covers North America's biggest races from wire to wire, with in-depth horse-by-horse analysis, features on the top jockeys and trainers, the most complete and accurate past performances, and the latest developments as reported by the best riders in racing. So remember, when the stakes are high and the races are big, Daily Racing Form is your best return on investment.
Sweet dreams from Doubletree.
Harness racing. It's wild. It's exciting. It's huge entertainment. The most exciting 2 minutes you'll ever know. It's not just a horse race. It's action, thrills, jackpots, good times, good friends, great atmosphere, and just plain good old-fashioned fun. The United States Trotting Association says, get into harness racing at a track near you.
Thrifty Car Rental Racing across America welcomes you back to our 4-race extravaganza this afternoon. You're taking a look live from Belmont Park, New York, the winner's circle of the 107th Brooklyn Handicap with UNI, owned by Edmund Gann, trained by new Hall of Famer Bobby Frankel, saddling for Bobby this afternoon in New York, as she did the Metropolitan Handicap. Very good horsewoman, Sally Lundy. And George Chavez with the victory. Tom Durkin will take us through it again.
Jorge Chavez really is terrific at getting the most out of a tiring horse. There he is on the outside, and he showing his very energetic style aboard UNI. Slick Horner ran a pretty good race today, does manage to hang on. The big story here, of course, is Secret Savings. He was well within striking range of reachable fractions, and when he turned for home, he just absolutely came up empty, and UNI winning at a distance that really just isn't his forte. It was a one-turn 9-furlong race, and he did manage to have enough to beat this field this afternoon. And let's go to the tail of the tick, if you will, the Wittenauer splits, and we'll see those fractions that for these kind of horses were fairly reasonable, 46 and 3 in fact for the half mile, and they did come home just a tad slow for a grade 2 stakes horses in 13 and 1. Chris?
All right, let's make it official from Belmont Park, New York. Here at Thistledown, here are the prices for UNI at $660, $430, and $370. The Florida-bred son of Chris S. Key contender was second, and it was Slick Horn who set the early fractions, finishing with the show spot. So we said UNI, a California horse. He ended his 2-year-old season there not very impressively. Bobby Frankel then sent him to New York, where he won, of course, the Metropolitan Mile. Now has won the Brooklyn. 2 legs of the Suburban Handicap. That's the story from New York. Now back here to our Ohio Derby scene and to Dave Johnson.
And we'll sort of refocus now on the Ohio Derby. And next to me is Randy Bradshaw, the trainer of Petionville. And Randy was Wayne Lucas's key assistant for about 8 years, but you've taken an interesting route to get here with Petionville.
Right, Dave. When I left Wayne, I took a little time off and went to Idaho and got in the tree spade business with a friend of mine up there. And then a real good guy by the name of Gary West got me to come back out of the tree spading business back to the horse business, and it's probably one of the best moves I've made.
You got a good smile on your face.
Well, I got some great people to train for. I got some nice horses, and things are looking up, Dave, so you can't be doom and gloom all the time.
And Petionville's a nice horse to have in that 35 stables horses that you have at Hollywood Park.
Yeah, Dave, he's a good horse. You know, he's 4 for 6 and had a little rough luck in a couple of races, but...
Well, let's take a look. In fact, let's see how it's not supposed to be. We're going to watch number 7 in the Illinois Derby, and what were you thinking when this sandwich occurred?
Well, Dave, I knew if we didn't get away in a big field like this, if we didn't get a clear shot, then we were going to be in trouble. And he broke into the side of the gate and then got bounced around a little bit, and usually would be 1, 2, 3 into the first turn, and now we're looking to be about 8th or 9th into the first turn.
And just really didn't have any chance there in the Illinois Derby.
Had no chance, just one of those races you kind of throw out and go back to the
But earlier in the Louisiana Derby, Cannon came up with a big race.
Right, he ran huge in the Louisiana Derby, and hopefully he'll reproduce that race today.
Now, what about today? Is it going to be the same kind of a game plan that you won the Louisiana Derby with?
Well, basically, there's a horse, local horse that's got a little speed. We're going to probably lay just off of him and lay close, and hopefully take the lead somewhere to quarter pole or just before that, and hopefully draw off.
How did you get Pat Day to ride this horse?
Well, Pat and I have been good friends since the days when I worked for Wayne, and we called him and asked him if he'd come up here and ride, and he said he'd love to, so it worked out well.
Best of luck this afternoon. Randy Bradshaw trains Patientville or Petionville or whatever. Back to Chris.
And Patientville, owned by Jeff Nielsen, is a native of Minnesota. And Jeff, here's your track, Canterbury Park. We'll be going there for our next live race.
It's our June Jamboree sale going on now at Gary Yeoman's Ford. This marks the beginning of the 1995 model year closeout. We've taken drastic markdowns on our entire inventory. Look at all these Windstars. Now take $4,000 off Windstar and pay just $17,950. Not one, but 20 to choose from at that price. Take $7,000 off Mustang convertibles, pay just $16,850. June Jamboree going on now. Who sells for less than Gary Yeoman's Ford?
Nobody in this town.
In my sister Nicole's memory, we've created the Nicole Brown Simpson Charitable Foundation. With this pin, we're raising desperately needed funds for local organizations that shelter and protect women and children who are victims of family violence. For a contribution of $20, you'll receive the gold-plated Guardian Angel pin, plus a personal note of thanks from our family.
We need you to call now. Please help stop this senseless abuse.
Please call now, 1-800-457-3777.
Is an individual art. If you want to do it correctly, it is simply raising it and letting it go. There is none of this, because then you can make it go, you know, any way you want it to. The wind could be blowing 40 miles an hour that way, and I'm going to make it go that way and tell them it's into us. You cannot make it go where it's not going. You just have to let go. Kind of like life. You just have to let go once in a while.
The third stop on our thrifty car rental racing across America tour takes us to Shakopee, Minnesota, the Canterbury Turf Classic. Let's take a look at the conditions of the race. One of 14 grass races there this weekend. $50,000 in the first. It's a mile and a 16th on the Lou Alkin Turf Course. 3-year-old and up. Let's take a look at the field now. And we'll start with the entry. Muckety Muck won his last 2 at Canterbury. Augie, my dad, the other part of that entry. Red Ronnie's a big price. Little Bro Lantis, Minnesota-owned, earner of more than $500,000. Then the 4 is R4. Is Bantan at 7-2, getting support. Dixieland Man at 30. Sahara King at 4. Continuing on with a big field here in the Canterbury Turf Classic. We scratch the 8. Jacob is 18. Then it's Z, Bengal Tiger 25. And scratch the good turf horse, Honor the Hero. Well, Canterbury Park is also the site of the most recent stop, in fact, today, of the 2020 Tour, sponsored by the Daily Racing Form, underwritten by Caesar's World. Now, that sends a couple of our intrepid fellows of ours, David Scott of the Racing Form and Roxy Roxborough, who does many of the lines at Las Vegas, on this tour to, well, have some fun at the races. Let's join them now at Canterbury Park.
Hi, we're at beautiful Sunsplash Canterbury Park today in Minnesota. The halfway stop on our 2020 tour, co-sponsored by the Daily Racing Forum and Caesar's World to benefit Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation.
And we're here while we're on the entire trip for the horses. You know, the gate opens up, the horses run as far as they can and as fast as they can. They ask only one thing in return: food, water, shelter. That's it. I think it's the minimum that an enlightened society can give to such beautiful animals as the Thoroughbred racehorse. Hey, Rox, we got a big race today, the Canterbury Park Turf Classic. Who do you like?
$50,000 race from Canterbury Park today. A mile and a 16th on the grass course. The obvious favorite is Little Bro Landis, but he's 0 for 6 this year. We're going to reach into our bag of tricks here, David. We've been doing well handicapping on the tour, and we're going to try a horse that's 8-1 in the morning line by the name of Bantan. Noel Hickey trained. He's won 5 races on the turf. And he's only had one start earlier this year, but that was to prep for this race. Good stalking style. Think he'll be along in time. That's Bantan in the Canterbury Park Turf Classic.
Take it to the bank, baby.
Bye-bye.
All right, Roxy, Dave, that's Bantan, their selection here. Well, let's see what our experts in Ohio think about that choice. Dave, who do you like there, the Turf Classic at Canterbury?
Well, good horses overcome trouble, and a muckety-muck, the #1 horse, drew the rail as part of an entry, but has won his last two. I would think that he would be very, very tough this afternoon. Chad Anderson rides. Let's take a look at the problems he had. First of all, he veered in at the start, but watch him here through the stretch. This is the turf prep for the Canterbury Turf Classic. And as they come through the stretch, watch the #1 horse who's on the lead, and he's going to jump a dark patch on the turf course. I mean, it might throw some other horses off. There he did, just jumped a little bit. But he didn't that didn't adversely influence him, and he was able to get the victory. I think he'll get it again today. Tom, what do you think?
A lot of people were talking last week about a great investment. Lotus Software, for a long time, was trading at 30, and then IBM wanted to make it hostile takeover. It went up to 64 in one day. Yeah, good investment. How about Little Bro Lannis, #3? 4 years ago, claimed at Canterbury for $12,500, and now $500,000 later. Let's go to Paul Allen for the call.
Jacob, thank you, sir. And the Bengal Tiger completes the lineup. The Turf Festival at Canterbury Park in full swing, and they're racing in the Canterbury Turf Classic. The long shot, Red Ronnie, started well from post 2 and cuts the corner looking for the lead. A muckety-muck on the inside is also showing good speed. And now closing up to be 3 wide is the Dixieland Man. On the inside is Little Bro Lannis going up into second. Then it's a length and a half to Our Forbes, Sahara King outside of him. The Bengal Tiger in the purple colors is very wide and 7 from the front. Then it's 2.5 back to Augie, My Dad, Bantan, and Jacob. 12 lengths from front to back. Around the clubhouse turn they go, and Chad Anderson takes the leader. A muckety-muck clear by length and a half. Little Bro Lannis is tracking him confidently in second. Then it's a length and a half further to Our Forbes. The Dixieland Man moves up into third. Outside of him, we have Red Ronnie in 5th and 6 off. Then we come back to the Bengal Tiger, still in the carpool lane. Sahara King is between runners, and Augie, My Dad, is on the inside, 8 from his entry mate. Then it's a length and a half to Bantan, and Jacob is last and 14 from the front. They have 3/8 of a mile to go in the Turf Classic, and there goes Little Bro Lannis. Little Bro Lannis takes the lead with 5/16 to go. A muckety-muck is trying to fend him off. Then it's 2.5 back to Our Forbes. Augie, My Dad, is now rallying from behind, but he has a lot of work to do. Bantan is a non-factor. Little Bro Lannis takes the lead, draws away by 3. A muckety-muck cannot match his strides. Now Bantan is flashing home well on the rail, but well too late. Little Bro Lannis, the Turf Classic champion. And Little Bro Lannis is back home at Canterbury Park, and he wins the Turf Classic. Bantan rallied to get second just from Augie, My Dad, a mile and 1/16, 1:40.1, a new track record.
Little Bro Lannis, the South Dakota bred, has been racing pretty much in Kentucky of late. Came home today, and Little Bro Lannis shows he still has that form. What a great story. Claim for $12,500, has now won more than $500,000. Let's take a look again at Little Bro Lannis, and Dave, he made it look easy.
And in stakes record time, in course record time, Little Bro Lannis, that $500,000 that Tom was talking about earlier, claimed for only $12,000, runs away and hides in the Canterbury Turf Classic with a $50,000 purse. And it's Bantan up for the place, but it's all Little Bro Lannis at the wire. Augie, My Dad, coupled with the muckety-muck, was third unofficially from Canterbury Park. Chris?
Owned by Robert Hall and William McCullough, trained by Richie Shearer, ridden by Angelo Trusclair, and Little Bro Lannis, the unofficial winner of the Canterbury Turf Classic. And here they come, our Ohio Derby horses, making their way from the Bourne area. Glad you're with us for the Ohio Derby. The 1995 Ohio Derby is being brought to you by Doubletree Hotels and Guest Suites. Sweet Dreams from Doubletree. By Walmack International, winning the world over. The Daily Racing Form, America's Turf Authority. and by Keeneland, source of the classic horse.
Great moments in racing are the results of months of hard work and hope, years of planning and persevering, and generations of successful bloodlines. For nearly 2 decades, Walmack has contributed to some of racing's most exciting moments with precocious stallions like Phone Trick, a leading juvenile sire. Phone Trick has sired an Eclipse Award winner, and more than half his 19 stakes winners won stakes at 2. At Walmack, we're working to make every moment count.
Since the beginning, you could always depend on your neighborhood for whatever you needed for your family vacation. Even when you needed a car with more trunk space. The fact is, you can still rely on Thrifty Car Rental to deliver historically low rates on a variety of legendary cars. So whether you're traveling in your neighborhood or to someone else's, we're there. Your neighborhood Thrifty Car Rental, historically known for low rates.
They come to Hollywood for the excitement. The nightlife. The action. And a chance to be a winner. Hollywood Park Racetrack and Casino. A lot can happen here.
We got to make a big impression on all the extreme games athletes coming into town. They got people coming in from Australia, Japan, France, New Zealand, Hungary. Bjorn Dunkerbeck, for instance. Not only is he the #1 ranked professional windsurfer in the world, born in Denmark, he lives in Spain. Top it, top it, top it.
The hero of Minnesota, Little Bro Lantis, winning the Canterbury Turf Classic, coming back to the track where he was clean for $12,500 a few years ago, and has now won this $50,000 stake there this afternoon, over $500,000 in earnings. Coming up on ESPN, I want to remind you to join us this evening, 7:30 Eastern, the Quest for the Cup, our preview of the Stanley Cup Finals, the Detroit Red Wings and the Jersey Devils. Best of 7 for Lord Stanley's Cup. The whole preview tonight at 7:30. Well, Tommy mentioned this is South Dakota-bred Little Bro Lantis, but his grandsire's Northern Dancer, his 77th trip to the post, and he was the story today at Canterbury.
Kind of like one of those John Henry kind of horses, not to put him in that bracket, but one of these grand old geldings from humble beginnings that just loves to run and just loves to win. As you mentioned, Chris, making his 77th career start. He has won 16 times. He's been in the money 46 of those 77 starts today. He's just a great, grand performer. And he gets a course record time. There's hope for us all as he is getting into his middle years. He might be at the peak of his game. And here's the Wittenauer splits of how he reached that course record of 1:40 and 1/5 seconds. Chris?
Bringing you back to Thistledown now, and our focus right on our feature, the Ohio Derby, 61st running this afternoon, $300,000 grade 2 for a mile and an 1/8. One of the big stories in the race certainly is Dazzling Falls. He comes here trying for his 4th Derby victory in 4 different states. He's the leading money earner in the field at almost $800,000. Well, both Dazzling Falls, the Nebraska bred, and the trainer Chuck Turco have come a long way from their native Nebraska. Chuck Turco has been on the racetrack since he was age 7, growing up near Exarban in his hometown of Omaha, working under the veteran horseman T.V. Smith. Even in the days when Chuck was getting 25 cents to hose down horses' legs after morning workouts, he dreamed of someday training a superstar. At age 34, Chuck caught his start with the Nebraska-bred Dazzling Falls, winner of almost $800,000.
It's been great, really exciting. A lot of different towns, saw a lot of different people. He beat a lot of different horses, a lot of different tracks, and he's made a lot of money. It's really been great.
Dazzling Falls' run of 3 Derby victories all started at the DeBartolo track in Oklahoma City.
Remington Park Derby, boxed in at the head of the lane, running against a real fine horse, Art Gatsby, who was on top of his game at the time. Swung 4 wide, set track record by 2/5 per second, beat Clever Trevor's stakes record. Really exciting run. Next stop was Arkansas. won the Arkansas Derby a lot easier than I thought he probably could. As a matter of fact, I just couldn't believe it. It was probably the most exciting day of my life since, other than when my kids were born. That was just unbelievable. Alabama Derby. We got there, long drive, and it was hot, and the horse was a little dull while he was there, but he got a narrow victory. He got bumped hard, turned for home, ran a real respectable time, beat a track bias, and really impressed with his performance in Alabama.
But others haven't been as impressed when considering the Nebraska Colt among the nation's top 3-year-olds.
That frustrated me because he's beat a lot of different horses, a lot of different tracks. He's 5th leading money-winning horse in the country, which is, I'm so proud of the horse. You look at certain polls, and he climbs in and climbs out, and they keep waiting for him to go beat somebody else, So then we went to Alabama, and now he's climbed back into the poll again after the Alabama Derby.
But Chuck doesn't need any weekly polls to let him know just how much Dazzling Falls has impacted his career.
I've always wanted my career to keep moving, and keep moving upwards. And I think a horse like this lets you showcase what you can do, what you can get done. And I think Dazzling Falls has done a lot of favors for me, and I'm sure he'll do more. It's just been phenomenal.
Here is the Nebraska star, Dazzling Falls, owned and bred by Don Kroger of Bennington, Nebraska. Now at 3-1 as Chuck Turco does some work, maybe a tongue tie or something to get him ready for the test today. Let's make things official now at the Canterbury Turf Classic as we wrap things up from there. Little Bro Lannis at 640, 380, and 260. Bantan finishing second, and Augie, my dad, part of that entry, finishing third, and that makes things official for the Canterbury Turf Classic. So our focus now right here in Ohio, the Ohio Derby, the horses in the paddock when we return.
September 30th, the Grade 1 $750,000 Isle of Capri Casino Super Derby 16 will explode from the gate. And the victor will be in the company of such champions as Ali Sheba, Sunday Silence, and Soul of the Matter. Will it be your 3-year-old? It's time to get your best in the running. Regular nominations for this mile and a quarter event close Saturday, July 1st. For information, call 800-551-2361. Remember, the Grade 1 Isle of Capri Casino Super Derby 16, September 30th.
If you want to play at the track, you've got to get Playing to Win, the all-new, fun-to-watch, easy-to-understand handicapping video from America's Turf Authority Daily Racing Form. Host Bob Newmeyer takes you inside the track, talks to key players, and shows you how the pros pick their winners. Past performances, speed figures, workout patterns, and breeding angles are just a few of the helpful handicapping tips that can really pay off. Playing to Win will take you to the front. Call 1-800-575-5965 today to order your very own copy.
Ever since I was a little kid, I dreamed about winning the Stanley Cup. But I also had this dream about this gorgeous blonde from space. And she came down, and all she really wanted to do was...
Cut!
What?
Let's stick with the hockey dream for now, Darren.
Get behind me.
Derby Day in Ohio. The ladies of their Derby finery here as they are enjoying taking a look at our Ohio Derby field in the paddock right now. Sunday night baseball on ESPN. What game's bigger? There is none bigger than the Indians and the Yankees. By the way, the Tribe smacked the Bombers this afternoon 7-4. That evens the series. They'll go for the rubber match at 7:56 Sunday night baseball on ESPN. Yankees and Indians from beautiful Jacobs Field in nearby downtown Cleveland. Let's give it the update on the odds now for the 61st Ohio Derby. Here's Vicitis at 40. Oliver's Twist, the morning line favorite. Still the supported 4-5. Wishful Song, a big price. Dazzling Falls now 2-1. Patientville, or Andy Bradshaw, you heard from him earlier, now 7-2. The Haas was scratched. I still believe, boy, the local is getting a lot of support, Tom, at 5-1.
Well, as you know, Dazzling Falls is trying to win his 4th Derby this afternoon. It's a feat seldom accomplished in the racings of, in the annals of horse racing. But he's in the right spot here at Thistledown. for Black Gold, Smarten, and Lost Code all turn the trick with a stop here in Ohio. When he arrived at Thistledown for the 1987 Ohio Derby, Lost Code's lofty reputation was a work in progress. He had won in Illinois and Alabama, but was only the third choice here behind Demons Be Gone and Proudest Duke as he led them into the stretch.
In the stretch, and still on the lead, it is Lost Code, opening up some 6 lengths with an eighth of a mile left to go here. On the outside, racing second, that is Proudest Duke coming on, driving, hit the 16th pole. It's Lost Code. Lost Code has what appears to be an insurmountable lead. This Derby belongs to Lost Code. Lost Code by 4 lengths.
Lost Code would duplicate that front-running victory in the St. Paul Derby to complete his 4-bagger. We now know him as one of the best 3-year-olds of an extremely strong crop that included Ali Sheba, Bet Twice, and Crypto Clearance. He was also a top handicap horse the next year and retired with earnings of over $2 million.
So Lost Code winning 4 derbies, Dazzling Falls trying to equal that mark, but one of them up against him and trying to stop not only Dazzling Falls, but the rest of them is Oliver's Twist right there. And meet Charlie Oliver of the Oliver's Twist. Hey, guy goes to a horse sale, doesn't have any intention of making a bid, never owned a horse before, makes 1 bid, gets the horse, and almost wins the Preakness. You know how lucky you are?
Oh, very lucky, very lucky. But we knew we had a good horse after we bought him, and I had a lot of faith and confidence in Bill Boniface and the family there at Bonita Farm. It's just been very easy to do, although it's been trying, waiting for these races to come on.
You having fun today?
I'm having a lot of fun.
And what about the horse, Oliver's Twist?
The horse is beautiful. It's come out of his work since the Preakness fine. We've had no setbacks. He flew out Friday from Baltimore, 50-minute flight. Handled it like a pro, like he's been flying all his
life. He had never been in the plane before.
No, I can't put him in my airplane, so he had to get his own.
And you flew your own plane out?
Yes, sir. We flew out later that morning, about 2 hours later.
Well, the very best, but are you going to be adding some more horses to your stable after this tremendous success?
I don't know. We're working on one thing at a time, and he's a plateful right now, so we work with him.
Okay, and the Ohio Derby is next on the plate. Charlie Oliver, owner of Oliver's Twist. Back to you, Chris.
Dave, he has a chance to be a real spokesperson for the Thoroughbred Owners and Breeders Association. The first horse he's ever owned paid $12,000, and now Oliver's Twist has won almost $400,000, and right now is the favorite for the 61st running of the Ohio Derby. They're calling him to the post. First, though, Alberto Delgado is on Oliver's Twist, the rider. And, of course, so much has been made about the Preakness run, how he just finished second to Timber Country. Everybody's surprised. We asked the rider, Alberto Delgado, was he surprised in the Preakness?
Not at all. I had a lot of faith in him, and I told everybody I was going to win the race. And everybody kind of just overlooked it, you know, because he really didn't perform that well in Florida. But this horse, he's learning how to run, and Blinker certainly helped him a lot. So he's a very good horse right now.
We present the field for the 1995 Ohio Derby, $300,000 in the purse, and as they make the turn, we introduce the 1 horse. Is Vakitis, 10th, beaten 32 lengths in the Belmont just last Saturday. Does drop 10 pounds down to 116, but is only a maiden and an allowance win in his career. Freddie Castillo, the rider, a native of Chile. The 2 horse and the race favorite right now. This is Oliver's Twist, trained by Billy Boniface, ridden by Alberto Delgado. The strong second in the Preakness. He's been first or second, though, in 6 of 9 starts. He's been consistent. The 3-horse Wishful Song just broke his maiden last month. The Ohio bred coming off a 5th place finish in an allowance race at River Downs, beaten 15 lengths. Maybe the name should be Wishful Thinking. Eric Bruce is the rider. The 4 horses Dazzling Falls, trying for his 4th Derby in 4 different states. Now, he finished the top 3, but also making the all-time leading money-earning Nebraska bred. The rider, the nation's leading money-earning jockey, Corey Nakatani, in for Chuck Turco today. The 5-horse from Randy Bradshaw stable. This is Patientville, a $190,000 Keeneland sale purchase. He's more than made that in his career. We saw him at Louisiana Fairgrounds win the Derby there. 7th in the Senate Derby, 4th in the Illinois Derby, and Pat Day, the rider, the Hall of Famer. He won the Ohio Derby back in 1980. We scratched the 6 to Hoss. It brings us to the 7, I Still Believe. The hot local horse on a 4-race win streak. Comes off a bullet work here in the rider, Eddie Maple, veteran New Yorker, 2-time Belmont winner. His brother Sam, by the way, won this race in 1979 on Woody Stevens' Smart. That is the field, 6 to run, a mile and an eighth for $300,000 in the 61st Ohio Derby. We'll be right back to continue our coverage from Thistledown.
Historically, whenever you had a problem in your neighborhood, there was always someone to help you, just when you needed them most. Today, you can still rely on Thrifty. Simply use your Montgomery Ward credit card at Montgomery Ward Car Rental at all Thrifty locations. So whether you're traveling in your neighborhood or to someone else's, we're there. Your neighborhood Thrifty Car Rental, historically known for low rates.
They come to Hollywood for the weather, the nightlife, the excitement, and the chance to be a star. Hollywood Park for exciting thoroughbred racing.
Budweiser invites you to spend an evening with the boys at the Budweiser Superfest. Boys to Men, the Kings of R&B, brought to you by Budweiser, the King of Beers. This summer.
Great moments in racing are the results of months of hard work and hope, years of planning and persevering, and generations of successful bloodlines. For nearly 2 decades, Walmack has contributed to some of racing's most exciting moments, with stallions like Nureyev, sire of 89 stakes winners, including 16 champions. Nureyev sires 1 stakes winner from every 5 foals, the highest average for any active sire. At Walmack, we're working to make every moment count.
The 1995 Ohio Derby is being presented by Hollywood Park, where great times are a sure bet. Let's take a look at our sure bets in the 61st Ohio Derby. Here is the field and a rundown of the odds presented by Autotonis Vicata. Still a big price. Look at Oliver's Twist. Oh, they've hammered him down to odds on. Wishful Song at 40, Dazzling Falls at 2, Patient Bill at 3. So there are your top 3 choices. We scratched a Hoss, and I Still Believe, who opened at 12, is now down to 5 to 1. Well, we talked about the favorites, but there's not much value there, so we're going to take a closer look at our Budweiser long shot now for the Ohio Derby of 1995.
Today's Budweiser long shot is a horse who, without a doubt, will go off a big price. I Still Believe. It's a sincere attempt to redeem ourselves after missing exclusive Praline at 30 to 1 at last year's Ohio Derby. So to make up for that gargantuan oversight, we've decided to go with I Still Believe. Something we hope you, the viewer, can still say about our long shot picks. I Still Believe is a former claimer who, like exclusive Praline, is trying the 1 1/8 distance for the first time. He's also making his first graded stakes start. And he's even mildly cursed. The son of the shortest price beaten favorite in Ohio Derby history, believe it. So why pick him? Well, for one, he's coming to this race on a hot streak, winning 5 of his last 6.
You know, he started out again in Florida. He ran at 5 different racetracks now with 5 different riders on him. And to me, there's no secret to him. You know, this just, you don't need a terrific rider. You just let this horse in a position to run in his race, and he's been doing it.
But even though the gelding may not need it, Sobel has retained the veteran Eddie Maple to pilot his charge. Factor in a sparkling 5-furlong work recently that was the 2nd fastest of the Thistledown meet, and we're convinced that even the most diehard of doubting Thomases will proclaim, I Still Believe, as the choice for today's Budweiser long shot.
The The 7-horse, I Still Believe. We'd hoped to give you some double digits on him for a Bud Longshot payout, but well, when they scratched a Haas, we're happy to keep 5-1 on the favorite here of the local crowd. As you look through the starting gate set just behind the 8th pole, a mile of the 8th in the Ohio Derby. More opinions here. All the crowds voice their opinions. You look at the tote board. Well, we called on veteran turf rider here, Bob Roberts, the Cleveland Plain dealer, one of the best in the nation, to go nose to nose with our man Dave Johnson on who they like for the Ohio Derby.
Hey, Bob, you're not one of those blinking, light-loving chalk eaters, are you?
That won't pay the tuition. No way.
Okay, that's the first good news I've heard about you. So let's throw that morning line favorite, Oliver's Twist, out. The Haas is scratched. Really leaves only 2 horses in the race. Who do you want?
Petionville.
Oh, good, because I get Dazzling Fall.
You'll help my price. Good.
Who have you beaten? Who's Petionville beat?
Larry the Legend.
Who?
Larry the Legend, you remember him?
Oh, I remember him. Seems like a couple years ago. Wait a minute, Dazzling Falls beat good fields in both the Remington Park Derby and the Arkansas Derby. Come on, you can't win those 2 back-to-back without having something.
I don't see Flitch and our Gatsby here, do you?
Wait a minute. Well, what about the trainer? I've got Chuck Turco.
He's used up all his luck. When he went to Alabama, they sent him to a stock car track. He says he couldn't find good sauce in Oklahoma City. He went to Murray Hill, Little Italy here. He had good sauce. The luck's all used up.
It follows him. He loses Garrett Gomez, but he picks up Corey Nakatani. Only one bad thing. My horse has to carry 2 pounds more than you today.
2 more bad things. I got Pat Day, and I bet you I'll have the rail, too.
And my Yankees beat your Cleveland Indians last night.
We'll get even today.
Well, Bob's right. The Indians did beat the Yankees today 7-4. Now who's right? Will Petionville win? Will Dazzling Falls win? How about the favorite Oliver's Twist? We'll find out very soon.
Just can't afford the car I want.
Your Chrysler Plymouth dealer now has 3 ways to save during our biggest sale in history. Get big cash back, or our lowest APR, or our lowest leases ever. Say hi and lease an award-winning Plymouth Neon for only $179 a month, or get 1.9% APR or $600 cash back. We hear you. Our biggest sale ever at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
Here, we believe relationships are not hard. All you have to do is talk. Southern Bell understands just how much we value our relationships. So, by giving you services like area calling plans, call waiting, and memory call service that let you talk to whomever you want, we're doing everything we can to help you stay close. Southern Bell. Actions speak.
2-0 on no. Wetland checks the runner at third. Here's the pitch.
Who's that, a new bartender? Yeah, they put him on a couple of days ago. What happened to the other guy? They canned him. Gotta be kidding. I mean, he was only here 2 weeks. What does that make? 8 in 2 months? 8, 9.
And there's ball 4.
Don't you think that's kind of strange? Not really. The guy that bought the joint is related to Steinbrenner. That figures.
Gotta be wondering what's happened to his bullpen. It can't be making the big guy in the front office too happy.
This part of ESPN's coverage of the 1995 Ohio Derby is being presented by Hollywood Park, where great times are a sure bet. If you like a sure bet for a rider, it's hard to look past Pat Day. For the first time, he is riding Randy Bradshaw's Petionville for Jeff Nielsen's Everest stable. We had a chance to visit with Pat earlier, although he has never ridden Petionville. He certainly studied him. We asked him about the colt's running style.
Well, I think he's got tactical speed and probably likes to be in a, up close to the front end. I wouldn't say he has to be on the lead, but it appears that his better races are on the close to the front. I think his race in the Illinois Derby, I believe he got away from the gate bad. I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but I don't believe that they purposely were back as far as they were. So I would hopefully like to see him get away from the gate clean and get down into the first turn, be in the first flight somewhere.
I wonder, as Pat is on Petionville heading to the post here for this 61st Ohio Derby of 95, if he can remember 1980, Dave, he won it here with Stone Manor.
You know, there's a few musical saddle games being played this afternoon. 4 of the 6 horses in this race have new riders, and one interesting one is I Still Believe. Eddie Maple has never ridden this horse, number 7, but he has a connection in that he rode Believe It, the sire, in the Triple Crown that affirmed one. Let's go upstairs now to Tom Durkin as number 5, Petionville, moves into line.
The 3 horses to watch here are number 2, Oliver's Twist. He's 6-5. Number 4, Dazzling Falls, is at 2-1. And number 5, Patientville, who's at 5-2. I Still Believe in the gate, ready for the start of the 61st Ohio Derby. And they're off. Patientville got off to a good start today. Isvacatus down toward the inside is there. Oliver's Twist is up close. And on the far outside, here comes I Still Believe. And Long Shot Wishful Song is right up there as they move under the line the first time. And I Still Believe will go out to establish the early lead. Leading the pack into the first turn. He's there by a length and a half. And a trio of horses in behind. Oliver's Twist up close and down inside. Wishful Song is in and among horses. Patientville gets a spot up close and on the outside. Isvacatus drafting in behind that group. And a break of 4 or 5 lengths back to an unhurried Dazzling Falls. And a sharp first quarter. 22 4/5 seconds. I Still Believe running at an enterprising rate here. Leading by 3/4 of a length. And he's prompted by Patientville on the outside. Right there running second. Oliver's Twist is third. Isvacatus shoots up an opening on the inside. Wishful Song is done already after a half mile of 46 3. Dazzling Falls is still unhurried beneath Tori Nakatani as they move midway up the backstretch. A half mile left here in the Ohio Derby. And the leader is still I Still Believe. Patientville alongside and Pat Day patient with him. He's in no hurry to go by. Alberto Delgado is wanting more from Oliver's Twist, and he is not getting it at this point. He's fallen 3.5 lengths off the front runners. Moving round him goes 40-1 Isvacatus. And Dazzling Falls is still 6 lengths behind, but he's launching a bit as they move toward the top of the stretch. I Still Believe racing for the challenge from Patientville. Isvacatus is a threatening presence on the inside. Here comes Dazzling Falls and poking his belly on the far outside. Oliver's Twist will not get it done today. They're coming down to the last furlong. Patientville in front. On the outside, Dazzling Falls is coming hard. Patientville, Dazzling Falls. It's going to be very close. Patientville digging down. Dazzling Falls, the last gaslight. Photo finish. I thought Patientville got his nose on the wire first, but Dazzling Falls was right there. Their noses were going up and down on the line. Isvacatus was third, and here beneath me, I see Oliver's Twist being pulled up this afternoon. The time was 1 minute 48 4/5 seconds.
What a stretch drive of Patientville under the Hall of Famer Pat Day, battling down the stretch with Dazzling Falls, who was trying for his 4th Derby victory in 4 different states. The photo sign is on the board. We're going to have to take a close look before we can make anything official here. Maybe Dave Johnson with his trained eye can help us sort it out. David?
Let's watch Eddie Maple with I Still Believe in the blue and white checks. He can't get any more out of his horse, but Pat Day still have something left in the black colors between horses with Patientville. On the outside, Dazzling Falls. At the rail, a surprising Isvacatus, who was way up the track in the Belmont, and with just 1 week's rest, comes back to finish a creditable third. But as they come to the wire, Patientville on the inside gets the victory by a nostril. Dazzling Falls on the outside, who was far back early, second in the photo finish. Unofficially, it's Pat Day. He doesn't have to talk to the stewards today, and the photo finish will probably show him to be the unofficial winner of the Ohio Derby 1995. Chris?
Still off of the track and stakes record of 147-2 of Smart in 1979. Woody Stevens will smile about that. The photo sign is still up. We're still trying to figure out a winner.
Stars such as Thunder Rumble, Saratoga Dew, and 4 Stars All-Star are products of the New York State Breeding Program. Each year, New York breds race for more than $17 million in restricted purses, plus $2.5 million in owners' awards in open races. And now, it's easier than ever to breed registered New York breds. To learn more about New York breds, contact the New York State Breeding and Development Fund. New York breds. The possibilities are staggering.
Brookside Farms' Jade Hunter has become an internationally recognized sire. His sons and daughters have won stakes races in Japan, Australia, New Zealand, Europe, and Canada. In the USA, Jade Hunter is the second leading 4th crop sire with over a dozen stakes winners, 76% winners from starters, and total progeny earnings already approaching $5 million. Jade Hunter, the international sire at Brookside Farms for Sales, Kentucky.
Since the beginning, you could always depend on your neighborhood for whatever you needed for your family vacation. Even when you needed a car with more trunk space. The fact is, you can still rely on Thrifty Car Rental to deliver historically low rates on a variety of legendary cars. So whether you're traveling in your neighborhood or to someone else's, we're there. Your neighborhood thrifty car rental, historically known for low rates.
Friday night at 7:30 Eastern, Alex Zolkin faces Tony Tubbs for the NABF heavyweight title. Top Rank Boxing on ESPN.
Nothing like a photo finish look at this. The wire, Patientville inside, Dazzling Falls outside. They hit the wire, and we'll try to sort it out in just a moment for you. Great horse racing action continues on ESPN next Saturday, June 24th on ESPN2. It's 2 day at the races, featuring 3 races in a half-hour format from around the country. And the photo sign is down. Patientville is the official winner of the 61st Ohio Derby at $7.20, $3.40, and $2.60. Dazzling Falls at $3 and $2.60. And there's Vicaitis. And I want to say something. We've been kind of knocking this colt all along. C.D. Whitaker's, and I tell you, did well today with the show. There's Randy Bradshaw getting the trophy, the East India Cup from Mike Mackey here at Thistledown. Let's take a closer look now with Tom Durkin.
And the fractions were certainly legitimate. And Pat Day just sitting off the pacemaker, I Still Believe It. And here's where he collared him at the top of the stretch. Patientville, the horse in the black there, and the horse in the green on the outside is Dazzling Falls, who will come so close to victory this afternoon. You've got to look at Patientville very closely. He just switches leads there. When he comes down, he's going to be about 20 yards from the wire. He's going to take a little stutter step and jump over something. But take nothing away from this horse at all today. He absolutely refused to let Dazzling Falls win. Now take a look at Patientville. Whoop, here we go, here we go. Like, what's this? Yipes. A little stutter step there. Almost cost him the race. But nonetheless, he got that nose on the line first. And there is Pat Day receiving his trophy for his work today in the Ohio Derby. Here's the Wittenauer splits, and there you see very legitimate pace here, 46 and 3 for the half, and the final time 1:48 and 4/5 seconds. That's 7 ticks off the track record. Dave?
I'm here with Corey Nakatani. This horse impress you?
Yes, he did. He really ran a big race, and the track really, I thought, wasn't playing to his liking today, but he broke real well. I placed him a little closer than what, normally he's been sitting. And he just, down the backside, they walked away from us, and he had a little bit left to do when we got to the quarter pole, and he just seemed like he was getting there.
Let's watch that big stretch drive of Dazzling Falls. You're in the black cap on the outside.
I tell you, through the stretch, I thought that I had him at any time, and right when I got to right about his hip, Pat's horse's hip, and he just seemed like he kicked in just a little bit and just had enough just to hold us off with this short of a stretch. And I think we get going to a little bit farther distance, and the stretch is going to help him.
Sounds like you want another chance at a longer stretch.
Definitely. There's no doubt about that.
The guy who finished second, but a real great rider and a fine man, that's Corey Nakatani. Dazzling Falls second by a head bob today. Back to you, Chris.
And that second place check makes Dazzling Falls here in the green colors the all-time leading Nebraska thoroughbred money earner. But today he lost to Patientville and Pat Day.
They come to Hollywood for the excitement, the nightlife, the action, and a chance to be a winner. Hollywood Park Racetrack and Casino. A lot can happen here.
What would Holiday Inn be like if families could still have all kinds of fun, but for less money? Actually, it would be just like Ramada. What would would Holiday Inn be like if its staff was so friendly and helpful they were rated higher than the competition's? Actually, it would be just like Ramada.
Back just outside Cleveland, where they're painting the colors of the Everest Stables on the jockey here in the paddock here. Patientville's black colors and black cap will be on display for the next year for the 62nd Ohio Derby. Patientville was the winner, just by a head over Dazzling Falls. Ismacotta's ran a big race today, third at 60-1. I still believe Oliver's Twist and Wishful Song completing the field. Dave Johnson downstairs with some happy thoughts.
Patientville, Randy Bradshaw, and Pat Day all at their best for the Ohio Derby. Congratulations, guys. Was it an easy trip, Pat?
Yes, it really was. He broke very well and was well placed early and was quite responsive coming off the turn. When he got in front, he got to loafing just a little bit. Dazzling Falls came to him. This horse jumped the tracks where the gate set at the 8th hole, lost a little momentum, and then jumped again something down there about 40 yards from the wire. But I tell you what, he's a real athletic individual, was able to recoup and maintain his momentum and got the job done.
Let's watch it from the top of the stretch. Here's where I still believe starts to back up, and you come on.
Yeah, I had him pretty much where I wanted him at all times. The colt, as I said, was very responsive. Come off the turn right here, switched leads very fluidly, and was going on about his business. Right there, he done a little funny thing, and then down here, right here where the gate sets, you'll see him. I don't know if it'll even be visible, but you can't even see it there. But he was doing some funny things up underneath of me, and as I said, he's a very athletic individual, was able to do that and still maintain his momentum.
Randy, he kept him going, didn't he?
He did a great job, you know, Dave. You know, Pat's such a world-class rider, and I think it comes down to the last eighth of a mile. If he's got enough force left, which he almost always does, he's going to beat you.
What's next for this horse?
I think we're going to go to the swaps in California, and it's going to hook Thunder Gulch. You know, we'll give him a shot to step up and see what he can do and go from there.
Congratulations today. Patientville, the winner, Randy Bradshaw, and Pat Day, victorious here in the Ohio Derby. Back to you, Chris.
Well, not an owner here, but with me, veterinarian Dr. Genovese, who's part of the American Association of Equine Practitioners on-call program to kind of let us know how these horses come back after a big race. The big question, Doctor, on Oliver's Twist. What have you heard from your veterinarians on the track?
At this moment, we haven't heard anything serious about him. He seems to be fine. They're going to check him over as he pulls out. He may have been bothered a little bit by the heat and temperature today, but at this moment, there's nothing seriously wrong.
Very good. He appeared to drop back suddenly, and as Tom Durkin mentioned, they kind of easily rode him to the wire, more of a precaution than anything, though?
That is correct. They would protect him, you know, to make sure that he has it tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you again, Doctor. Appreciate it. That's the word on Oliver's Twist. Certainly the feature story, though, is Patientville. Congratulations again to all the connections there. The Louisiana Derby winner comes to Ohio, wins the Ohio Derby here. Well, coming up for us on ESPN next Sunday, we'll have one of the great turf races in the sport, the Caesars International from Atlantic City, New Jersey. Join us at 6:30 Eastern. It is truly one of the big events. Let's take a look now at future book odds from Caesars Palace on their race. Here's the vid at 3-1. Winner of the Early Times Dixie. Second in the Early Times Dixie was Pennine Ridge. 4 Stars All-Stars won more than $1.3 million on the turf. Earl of Barking at 7-1. Winner of the Hollywood Turf Handicap. Now Alice Springs is interesting, trying to be the first filly to ever win this historic Caesars International. And Sandpit, who was second in the Hollywood Turf Handicap. That's all coming up next Sunday here on ESPN. Dave Johnson, your final thoughts on this Ohio Derby.
Wait for the fall, wait for age. I can't wait till the 3-year-olds tackle the older horses. These good ones today, Timber Country, Thunder Gulch, and then, of course, Cigar and Concern waiting in the wings. Tom, final thoughts?
Good race today. I'm just trying to figure out why Patientville took that goofy step, and I'm looking down at the track. There's a little object just about this big on the track, about 25 yards out the wire. He was smart enough to see it, took a little stutter step, but all turned out well. Chris?
Thank you, Tom. Hope you enjoyed our coverage this afternoon of the Ohio Derby. Our congratulations to Jeff Nielsen and Everest Stable, the owner of Patientville, as he stayed in Minnesota this week, and hope he enjoyed it. Coming up next, off-road racing from Geneva, Wisconsin. The Ohio Derby coverage on ESPN this afternoon has been presented by Thrifty Car Rental, historically known for low rates. By Beechwood Age Budweiser, it's always been true. This Bud's for you. By Whitnauer Watches, the perfect balance of hand craftsmanship and advanced technology. Whitnauer, the watchmaker's watch. And by the DeBartolo Corporation, leading the way to the 21st century and great hosts here at Thistledown. Ground transportation provided by Thrifty Car Rental. For reservations at over 850 locations worldwide, call Thrifty at 1-800-4-CARS. This has been a Winter Communications presentation in association with ESPN. We gave you a photo finish in the 1995 Ohio Derby. Patientville just gets to the wire before dazzling falls. Pat Day back to the winner's circle in Ohio for the first time since 1980. Hope you enjoyed our coverage. So long, everyone, from Ohio.